Okay, diving straight into a Bombchu level. I'll be honest, I don't exactly remember what we did last episode. Also nice, some manhandles. If I was allowing myself to use multiple warriors, I would send Lana off to that one. To the manhandles, but I think we should be able to take a detour to get the one that's closest to us and then rush off to the LA base, hopefully. But yeah, doing some more recording ahead. So. I don't want to unplug my Wii U, but like at the same time, if it keeps doing that, that's going to get really annoying. Because it's always when I'm recording it does that. So yes, we need to go to the LA base. We need to go there. Going a little bit ahead because I want to keep up my LP skills. I should be able to rebuy Pikmin 3 Deluxe next week. Exactly next week, actually. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, since the last recording session, I haven't really done much grinding in the Wii U version. More so because I have been a little bit focused on editing episode 110, which finished today, and I'm kind of debating if I go to the library tomorrow and try and get that uploaded as well, or if I just don't worry about it and then just upload it when I've got the first chunk of Pikmin 3 ready or something. Also, yes, Skulltula level. What do we need to do? The second one. Okay. Just trying to remember what that is. For Impa specifically. I think with this weapon, she summons a circle and everything in that circle is affected. Just don't know how wide of a circle it is. But I mean, I definitely get the feeling that in this version, these types of Skulltulas are going to be a little bit easier, only because, well, there are a lot of enemies on screen, and you don't have to worry about like invisible enemies or something. Okay, so I'm thinking that I think the only treasure here was the Skulltula, which is kind of the norm. Also, holy shit, things are going down in the LA base. Yeah, once we get the Skulltula, I'll cut around me getting the A rank and then come back when I'm finishing the level. Really? That's what there is here? Just one guy? Really? Really. But yeah, the point I was getting to before I noticed everything going down, I'm still grinding up Darunia, who is now level 113. And I don't know how it happened yet, but I still don't have a good, well, a weapon I'd want to use as the foundation for his weapon just yet. Like, it's kind of getting to the point where I feel like if I turn the weapon I'm using to grind with him into the base weapon, or into the foundation weapon, it's going to give me a 420 8 slots weapon. It's like, really? So I think I mentioned in the previous episode that I don't have a weapon with legendary on him. No, yeah, a weapon with legendary for him. I don't think I mentioned this, but I do. It's just that it also has no healing, which I would much rather prefer use that weapon for no healing. Yeah. Because, like, 300 weapon skills are just ever so slightly annoying to get in the Wii U version. Right, it's this type. I remember these being, like, really common in the Wii or 3DS version. Like, I haven't seen them in the Wii U version. Huh. Just, like, no shit, he's in trouble. It's in trouble. I've barely even done it. It's a little bit late on the upkeep there. Okay, Link's not important. We can let him go down if need be. Just trying to think of another point I wanted to get to. But I mean, I'm not aiming for an absolute perfect weapon to have before I go into the Twilight maps. It's just that I would prefer to get it done now, only so then, while I'm in between, when I'm doing the Twilight map, I don't have to go, hey, in between episodes, I grinded a bit and, you know, so-and-so's level 200 now and has the perfect weapon. I don't really want to do that. Although that being said, because I am wanting to have EXP on a weapon, on the weapon I'll be using for the Twilight maps, I kind of want to see if we can get to the max level by the end of the Termina map on one of the characters. I feel like that'll be a good thing to note. Okay. So this should be the Skulltula. Copies for Impa. And Skulltula should be spawning in now. So it took me a little bit too late to realize this, but I think the main puzzle for this map is a puzzle we've already completed. Because I think something I forgot to touch on in like the first episode is that along with all the weapons and stuff being split between maps, the first 3 Skulltula puzzles are split between maps, or have been spread to the maps. Spread across to the maps, so yeah. I really, really hope that this is just a 1200. Because I get the feeling we moved through the game, through the level so far, so that we can't exactly get the amount of carries we need. But yeah, I'll start cutting around now. Okay. Because that isn't full-on magic pot there, I'm thinking I'll go in, do a fairy nuke. Also, this is the first time we get to see this. I'm fairly sure. Huh. Also, it is criminal that this is the only game with Linkle in it. Because, like, they were planning on having Linkle in Breath of the Wild. Is that another? No, okay, it's the mini one. Yeah. They were planning on having Linkle in Breath of the Wild, but they just didn't, and so far there's been like no news on whether or not they want to add, like, include her. Cause like I feel like there's potential for Linkle in more things, like even in like spin-off things. Cause like, like definitely more of like a original universe sort of deal. Also, just whenever I hear or like see the abbreviation AU, I just think they're just talking about Australia for some reason. It's like, what? What's going on here? More so about Linkle being a chosen one, like not really the chosen one, but picking up the slack of the hero role, and having like a trait of Linkle being that she can't use a sword properly, or she doesn't have proper sword training or something, and instead of wielding the Master Sword, some event happens and the Master Sword breaks and she has to go get the pieces of the sword forged together again, but instead of doing that, she turns the pieces of the Master Sword into arrow tips. Kind of tying back to the beginning of the whole Zelda franchise, in which the thing that destroyed Ganon wasn't the Master Sword, it was the silver arrows, like that sort of thing. I feel like there'd be something interesting there. Not to mention, okay, cool, it was the air rank. Not to mention, it's just a full-on excuse to add Lana to something more canon, I guess, or to my own canon. But I've got my like various own projects that I want to work on before I do that. Although that being said, it'll be a good way to get into the story, like proper story writing thing. For enemies in time, or let's do this one actually. Okay. The weird thing is, like, I spent a bit writing notes to mention or to have things to mention in this, and like so far it's been the entire episode, like entire level not doing that. Like I wanted to mention my opinions on the Artful Dodger, since I finished season 2 a while ago, like a few days ago. Also, when I was looking something up for it, because I mentioned not knowing where Port Victory was. Yeah, no, that's a made-up place. Although it's most likely based on Port Victory. Oh no, Port Victoria. So I thought it was would have been set in New South Wales, but apparently Port Victoria is in South Australia? I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Although that being said, I'm not entirely sure on South Australia. Yeah, South Australia. Out of all the places in Australia that I've been to, South Australia's been probably the place I haven't been. I remember the least about. Although that being said, I've only been there one time, I think, for a vacation one time when I was a kid. I mean... But I guess if there was a plot point about a person going to the Outback, having it be set there would probably make the most sense. Okay. Just ever so slightly. And also another thing I learned about it, apparently it is a reimagining of Oliver Twist. Which, I mean, thinking about it, it does make a little bit sense. It does make a little bit of sense, only because Oliver Twist is a character in the first season. Although that being said, I'm not overly sure on how much or how similar Artful Dodge's Oliver Twist is to the one from the story Oliver Twist. So I've no idea what Oliver Twist is about. Maybe I should read it or something? Maybe? So how are we doing the damage? Okay, 22%. Also, another thing about Season 1 specifically is, I love how once, like, after it's introduced, end off. Ether, or I guess, Morphine, it's just available whenever. It's like, whenever they need to have a character out of the picture, it's like, yeah, you know, we just have some Ether lying about. When at the beginning, near the beginning, it's like, really rare, like not something you would have on hand. Although that being said, due to what, or due to a few plot points, I guess it makes sense. Only because the head doctor doesn't want to use it. That sort of thing. But it's weird. It's like, oh, Belle needs to sneak out of a room. She has ether. Jack needs to go see Belle. He uses ether. It's like, what? Excuse me? And I guess spoilers for season 2. I guess the end of season 1 for that note. I'm not really sure how I feel about them kind of skipping over Jack's sentence. Like, I mean, on one hand, I'm kind of glad that they pull some bullshit and say, hey, Jack made it out on his own, or Jack had a pardon or something. No, he's in jail for like 6 months. But that being said, I do like the, I guess, prison break switcheroo that they pull before he's sentenced to his hanging. Okay. We should do that after the thing, so this like not hanging here for a while, but you know, whatever. And being completely honest, I think that's the only time I like Fagin in season 2. Just man. This is for Tetra, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yeah, it's like the only time I like Fagin in season 2. Which I'll get into a little bit later as to why I don't really like him in season 2. But on top of the usual stuff, I do really like how they added like a murder mystery element to it. Although that being said, the one thing I don't like about that is the fact it's kind of dropped in the middle of the season, so that there's more time to focus on what Fagin's getting up to, and Not really a fan of that. Also, I've got to say, I'm not really a fan of how they pretty much did nothing with the reversed situation. Because if you remember at the beginning of season, like near the start of season 1, Jack notices Fagin and realizes that, hey, he could potentially fuck up his reputation as a lieutenant surgeon and just completely break the thingy thing, like the setup he's got up at the moment. And to keep his cover, he enlists the help of Fagin as his servant or something, like medical servant. And then at the end of season 1, Fagin nestles or like rostles up a way to get a full pardon for his actions, and at the cost of that, Jack is placed into jail. To keep up that rouse, Jack is placed into jail. Because Darcy, I think his name is Darcy, has just a complete hate boner for Jack. Speaking of season 1, I really like the opening scene. Just the fucking card game and the song Joker and the Thief. What else? Like they never really get, like, they don't really go anywhere with that. It's pretty much whenever Fagin wants something, he kind of has to like remind Jack of the situation that he's in. As his uncle slash father. I'm not entirely sure of that relationship, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure how, like, just how truthful of a situation that is. I guess an adopted father works, I guess. And then, like, towards the end, that the murder mystery subplot is brought back up. Kind of finish things off. So I forgot the inspector's name, but I do like that he is completely on the side of justice, more so than anyone else's side. To the point where everyone else has, or anyone else in a position of power has it out for Jack. He's kind of like, no, let's get proper evidence for this, please. And like, even when everything is kind of pointing towards Jack or another surgeon like Jack, instead of busting his load early, he sticks it out and goes all the more to that. So this is a vanilla, and we do need to go back. Well, because we did a vanilla that we need to go back for, I think I might call it there. Maybe, but I still wanted to finish off the point I have with that. But I think what I'll do is I'll finish off the point and then edit that in to this. So that is what I'll do. Although that being said, the only thing I don't really like about the Inspector is the fact that they do kind of rise up a forced love triangle thing, despite the fact that to pretty much everyone but Jack, there's a sense of romantic tension, but as the two get to know each other, that being Belle and the Inspector, that turns into more platonic respect and tension. And it's only Jack who sees the Inspector as being a rival, which I'm not really a fan of, to be completely honest. Like, it's definitely forced. Although, that being said, I do like how when shit... when shit hits the fan, more or less, Jack concedes, or initially concedes and says, hey, if I can't be with you, I would like you, like, I'm fine with you being with the inspector. Like, that sort of thing. Or I guess the police sergeant. Like, that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't really expect this to be so much of an issue. So yeah. Next episode we'll continue on with the middle, and maybe I'm just gonna quickly see how much percentage we have. 42%. Okay. I doubt we'll be able to get to 50, but I mean, it's possible. Until then, that has been I'll see you.